habits. You need to break yourself up if you want to speculate.
Let's
get right back to
Now, if we take a look
ineffective
back,
speculators.
his name,
Another thing they do, if I keep stuff, I'm back.
Why is that?
And I got 5 more bad habits. You need to break yourself up if you want to speculate like a pro. Let's get right back to ineffective speculators. Another thing they do, they buy cheap stocks because they assume everything.
Natural gas, those are not specific, right? You're not to say those are natural resources.
Back
so with everybody, and you now have the bank
essentially between
England, America,
1914
Chinese,
and
apparently
1920,
loosening up everybody is now loosening the money supply, printing money.
Hi, I'm Max Kaiser. This is the Kaiser Report.
Jim and how do you? We also had a relatively low discount interest rate where banks borrowed from the federal government. It was a lot more important back in the
shortages of nearly all commodities developing and I'm going to make money in the commodities. If the economy does get better, it's going to print a lot more money. Place to be, and we all have
I was just saying, I told you, this has been happening for weeks. All we do is search stuff online. And we use several different search engines, but start pages stuff just proxies. And if someone in the world is watching us, we go technically watching us, learning that they're being listed, fixing our searches, documents saying they're killing us. Of course they can't have me on here dominating. And I'm dominating all of the web now. You're being censored everywhere.
Everything in the world
I have confirmed that people are
maybe the US dollar will go up initially, but probably everything would be hit in the shock that made it worse. So I own gold. I'm not selling my gold.
The crash of Lehman Brothers. It was a discussion on my side of former chancellor.
And what the Fed is doing is simply guaranteeing that
most people don't understand
the 0% interest rates prevent.
And perhaps you know Venus Project, you know the Revolt Charter organization, you know perhaps the books and the stories of Gene Roddenberry, Star Trek, where we live in the world about money. I can tell you it is possible. But the problem we are facing is how can we get there? And all that we have to know is it happens in our minds. We have to push the right switches and then we will find the path.
Okay, sind wir online? Wunderbar. Hello to another FM Secrets Info Show. My name is still Dan Megalch from good old Germany, and you're welcome to another 48 hours technical analysis and synthesis. Today with the Pound Chief, so analyze this stuff again, it's still yours. Okay, it's 1919, Central European Time, Brussels, Frankfurt, Zurich, Brussels, Frankfurt, Berlin. Or example Zurich, of course, or 1819 in London. By the way, 1319 in New York. It's Thursday, the 17th May 2012. Here I'm choosing Pound Chief, and yeah, wait. Here we created here new lows, new weekly lows. Yeah, I waited and hope that we get and come back here while rest session, but we are trading here at new lows, and I wanna tell you I would still prefer here the short side in this cross rate for the next 24 hours, perhaps next week also, and no long short views, but yes, I'm a little bit surprised here for the price action right here right now. We're trading at 1.4927. However, let's get to the analysis. Here we are. Here we go. We see here the weekly price action. By the way, the high lows, and here we created here. You saw it for a few seconds. Live new weekly lows. Interesting, by the way, are not only the reason why I'm choosing this cross rate or this trading opportunity capability for you is following. Here we see the price action of this week. We see here round about the mid prices of this week. Here we've got here something like try to come back, but here break through today, break down. So yes, and now I hoped here while Wall Street session will come a little bit yeah, above and then sell again, but now we are still slightly sell pressure here in pound chief. Interesting much more, or not only here this week, if we here watch last week, we were lower last week, so here we see the high of last week and the mid price of last week, so we are trading also at these levels, so that's one signal for me to sell the, how to say, pound chief again, or two. Here we see this price action signals to me here high, low, and how to say in English, it's quite yes, I don't want to say turnaround, but yeah, pretty reverse intraday. So until the end of the week I would prefer the short side, or yeah, the beer side. Okay, here we see all high lows last week and this week together, and here we see the lows, the mid price of last week are around about the lows of this week, so I would still prefer the low side or the south side, here the southeast in the pound chief for the next 24 hours, and if we are in the money then perhaps till next week, but we will see tomorrow what happening until then. Okay, let's go forward. Here we see low prices. I'm creating some lines too, so here once again, and interesting is, in my opinion, here this one this week we try to come back here, as I said, and today before we fall we've got here this upside trend, or slightly upside trend to the above side, so I wait while the European trading session this morning, and yeah, I was afraid to I tried to create a long position, but after map better than not. Here we see we've got this slightly downfall, so I waited here while US trading session until now, but I don't have the time, let me say honestly here, so create a video shortly. And yes, here we see we are still low prices, so I would higher prices still sell pound chief for the next until the end of the week, and then we will see next week what will happen. So yeah, the trend is still, so I don't wanna I don't would fight the trend, of course. Here we are touching here new lows, and that's the audiovisual signal, if I'm not wrong. Yes, here a new low line this week. But don't forget, we are here, we created in this cross rate. That's an unusually cross rate. Here we created here new lows. These are also yearly lows, yearly highs, by the way. This here are yearly highs. So the trend, the big trend is still upside trend, yes. But here on the weekly time frame, or on a short term view, I would slightly try to sell pound chief. So until the end of the week, and next week we will see. So why here this formation intraday yesterday? Yeah, here was after map clear. Here the sell-off. Here this pressure. Here was struggle for new highs. Here the bulls lost a little bit more power or faith to new price. Here great reverse consolidation and then sell-off. So intraday scenario, if you want one, here the reverse, here the consolidation, and here the first sell-off. So I would proudly sell this crossfade 2 for the second sell-off if you want. Here intraday, of course, relative sell-off. Yeah, intraday, of course. And yes, so okay guys, interesting here perhaps, or I waited. Yes, here's the line. The reason why I waited, so I tried to catch here at 149.82. Trying to catch here pound sheep at this levels, but here we are creating new lows, and I don't know, we will see if we will see this price area this week. However, I would still prefer the short side in this cross rate. Here, by the way, here we see it much better. So here and here once again. Okay, here we see great creating here new lows, new lows, and I would prefer here to sell at mid price of last week, perhaps 149.41 or 61 high low of last week. Here 149.59. here could be, if we come back for speculate, could be a great entry point to sell pound sheep until the end of the week. Okay, but here we see we are trading here at new weekly lows. Okay guys, that's all for today. Thank you for watching my video, spending your time. Analyze the stuff, of course, again, it's still yours. And until the end of the video, I will give you a new citation for the day. So stay online, stay with me, and analyze this stuff, of course, again.
Well, there are problems in America. The Americans have to deal with that situation, and the fact that the U.S. was downgraded had an impact on sentiment. As you saw in the latest numbers, now. But you have to realize the United States is very much of the GDP that is produced in the U.S. is consumed internally. When you look at the amount of exports and imports relative to GDP, it's relatively small in the United States. And you have to understand is that most
and the money flows into one aspect and then into another one, probably that they are all at the same time.
And when I say you weren't breastfed, and I put this out before people, a lot of them get mad and say, well, no, I wasn't breastfed. You don't get the fats you need for brain growth in the first year and a half without the milk that the female mammal, Homo sapiens sapien, produces. See, those breasts are for a reason. They're designed to feed you. Now, my mother breastfed me till I was 18 months old. I've got a big brain, okay? I got my full development.
America's already paying for it. The idea that they're still paying things to AAA credit and they may lower it is just absurd. These left rating agencies have been wrong about nearly everything for the past 10 or 15 years. The U.S. is in terrible trouble. Congressmen should be worried about that.
Working, that we're finally getting growth, that we're creating jobs, that we've turned the corner, that we've seen the light at the end of the tunnel. Pretty soon people are going to realize that that's not a light, it's the proverbial oncoming rain. The U.S. economy is not getting better at all. In fact, it's becoming sicker than ever before. And all the Fed can do is keep interest rates at zero indefinitely, pretend there's no inflation, even as it's about to rage out of control,
and the stories
and trying to justify keeping the economy on life support, which
I can tell you it is possible. But the problem we are facing is how we get there. And all that we have to know is it happens in our minds. We have to push the right switches, and then we will find the path. I will give you some hints, clues, how to do it on yourself.
is what it's doing.
First of all,
it's a monster.
The biggest most people in the U.S. economy is that rates are too low.
Interest rates are too low. We're never going to have a real recovery until interest rates rise. But of course, when interest rates rise, we're going to have some short-term problems that result from the enormity of our debts. Our banks are going to suffer. The federal government's going to suffer because it can't pay its bills. The housing market's going to suffer. We're going to have a
this term venting by the bank.
As
You go to the bank,
global economy,
you
the
get a
real
loan.
economy, but for
They don't
political
give you
reasons,
money.
the Fed doesn't want that. So the Fed is
they
resisting the cure by making the disease worse, and eventually we're going to suffer that much more when interest rates.
Loans from banks
Then we're going to wipe out the dollar completely. Inflation. Let's say it's going to
created by lending it out.
put the Japanese state through an interest show. And a
This
strong yen
is
would
one
reduce the
of
cost of
our
those
major
imports
problems
and would help the
today. Because when banks grant a loan, the money doesn't exist beforehand. It's not existing.
What's driving the
It's
trade
money out of thin air, but then the banks want it back with interest, and this is the problem. Because they never invent the money for interest. In the beginning, in the older times, 1,000 years ago, people used cattle or sheep. And then, if they lent a herd, they returned it to unicorn calves. This is called natural interest. Natural interest grows on itself, and then you can return no problem with that. But if we use gold coins, paper money, they don't get children. So banks only create the money of the loan and never the money to pay interest, and this is where the problems start, because the money for the interest doesn't exist in our money volume. So this is the root of the so-called competition in the real economy. We have to fight against each other, take away money from each other, to give it back to banks.
I mean, if you go to the 2008 period, you find out later that Paulson, thanks to a huddle with the insiders on Wall Street, told folks that the government was going to be bailing out these institutions, printing money to do so. Banks all tripled and quadrupled during that period of time, based on a huddle between Hank Paulson, Congress, and Wall Street. And billions of dollars were siphoned out of the economy, put into the pockets of a few folks who used most of that money to pass laws to make it easier to commit the same crimes over and over again.
Yes, those huddles you were talking about with Hank Paulson, they were actually all, he met with
Okay, here we go with the citation of today, and it's La Rochefoucauld. He said that truthfully, eloquence is to saying what belongs to the things and only that. So, yes. So for us traders, don't play, how do you say in English, Scrabble or crosswords. So I said all what I've got to say here in, for example, pound chief, and yeah, that's what La Rochefoucauld saw. The truly eloquence is to saying what belongs to the things and only that. And I said all what I got to say. So be aware if someone plays crosswords or Scrabble with you and analyze the stuff again. It's still yours. My name is Damian from good old Germany, and it's Thursday, the 17th May 2012, and it's 13:36 New York time, or 19:36 Central European time. So thanks for watching my video, spending your time. Good morning, good day, good night, wherever and whenever you're watching my FM Signals Info Show videos. Talking to you tomorrow while Wall Street session with a weekly review and outlook. Thanks guys.